What's going on, people? We are back at it again with another episode of RCC Studies. I am John, and this is
Ramon.
All right, so this morning we're going to be focusing on Romans chapter 5, verses 12 through 19. As you can see, we're doing this bit by bit, section by section, and we're getting through this rather quickly. So, Pastor V, how about you just start off and just read that for us, and let's dive in.
Romans 5, 12 to 19. Therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because all sinned. For sin indeed was in the world before the law was given, but sin is not counted where there is no law. Yet death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over those whose sinning was not like the transgression of Adam, who was a type of the one who was to come. But the free gift is not like the trespass. For if many died through one man's trespass, much more have the grace of God and the free gift by the grace of that one man, Jesus Christ, abounded for many. And the free gift is not like the result of that one man's sin. For the judgment following one trespass brought condemnation, but the free gift following many trespasses brought justification. For if, because of one man's trespass, death reigned through that one man, much more will those who receive the abundance of grace and the free gift of righteousness reign in life through the one man, Jesus Christ. Therefore, as one trespass led to condemnation for all men, so one act of righteousness leads to justification and life for all men. For as by the one man's disobedience the many were made sinners, so by the one man's obedience the many will be made righteous.
All right. So that's this section here. We see a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of stuff to dialogue. What are some things that strike you as you read this?
Yeah. So there's a lot here. We're only going to touch the surface. But many of you who've watched these videos know Barbara Campbell's Rules of Interpretation and Observation. There should be an acronym, the BCRIC or something like that.
Shout out, Barbara.
Shout out, Barbara. We love you. So one of the things she often says, and she's right, is notice things that are repeated. That's one of the easiest ways to do studies. Just what words are repeated. And there's a lot here. The ones I want to fixate on, I think, are this idea of one man, right? And so we have sin came into the world through one man, right? This one man who later on is listed as Adam was a type of the one who is to come. This idea of the one man, Jesus Christ, in contrast to Adam, right? So the repetition of Jesus and Adam, Jesus one man, the one man's sin. So again, the connection with Adam. The one man's trespass. So you notice it's going back and forth between this one man Adam and the one man Jesus versus the one man Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And so all these connections, and then you might say this begins to summarize a lot of this, right? So one trespass, similar to this idea of the one man's disobedience, and there's consequences here. One man's obedience, and here's what comes out as a result of that.
Another one man right there.
No, thank you. Another one man, right? Through that one man. Death reigned through that one man.
Yeah.
And so you notice what I'm doing here. I'm sort of drawing links to try to trace the examples. So all through here. So I'm trying to trace the ways in which it's first talking about Adam. And so that way we can almost, if you wanted to, what you could do is, write Adam and list all the different things this passage says about Adam, and then write Jesus.
So it's like a contrast.
Exactly, all the things that are written about Jesus. And that will yield a lot of study, a lot of I think important things to notice. Here's all the things that Adam represents and the consequences that came out of Adam. Here's all the things that Jesus represents and all the things that came out of Jesus. And so one of the things that might be worth representing from, or at least one of the good contrasts to talk about here, I think, we can talk about a lot, but one of them would be this idea of representation.
Yeah.
That's something, so this gets a little bit into maybe say interpretation, reflection.
Yeah.
What are some things you would want to mention about this idea of how Adam represents certain things that have impact on humanity, and Jesus represents certain things that has impact on humanity, specifically those who believe in Jesus?
Yeah. Well, just to back up just a little bit, I think going back with the repetition, I think is another one that keeps striking out to me as well. And I want to say this idea of this free gift, right? The free gift of the gospel. We see this here. It's noted. We see right here, it's the free gift. We see again right here, verse really 15. It's the free gift. Boom, right here, free gift. I mean, Paul...
Which is a really good contrast because, on one end you could read this just noticing the trespass death. What you're noticing is, but it right up against this idea of free gift.
It's a free gift, and it's definitely compatible when we think about the gospel, because the gospel is the free gift of God, right? What Christ did to redeem us, to save us, and it's that free gift. You don't work for it, as what Paul's obviously in the previous chapters has been hitting at really, really hard, right? So just want to. When we think about the repetition of words do matter. Words matter in context, and again, boom, another free gift there. So Paul is all about the free gift of the gospel. So I just want to say that. But one thing that really struck me as well is this idea of representation. We live in a very individualistic culture, I would say. You got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Even the idea of like sin, right? People would say, well, I didn't eat the fruit, or I didn't disobey God. I wasn't there, so to speak. But just this idea of, therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man. You see this? And death through sin. So death spread to all men because all sin. This may be hard for some people to realize, but the idea of representation, Adam represented us, humanity, in the garden, right? I'm a big basketball fan. Everyone knows I'm a Sixers fan, trust the process. And I told you the other day, and I'm going to tell everyone here, we're coming out of the East. That's just what it is. We're going to lose to the Warriors in the finals, but we're coming out of the East.
I thought you had more confidence in that.
No. Well, I just got to be honest. We got to be real, right?
You're a pastor. You got to be truthful.
I gotta be truthful. But in basketball, it's this idea of this concept of the team foul, right? So Ben Simmons, who's the point guard of the Philadelphia 76ers, when he is playing the Warriors in the finals, because it's going to happen, he's going to eventually foul one of the players. Let's say Steph Curry. The idea is the referee will call that foul, and then Steph Curry goes to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws to earn points for his team. Ben Simmons represented the whole entire Philadelphia 76ers. In fact, he represented the whole entire city of Philly when he made that foul against Steph Curry. You see what I'm saying? So the idea of this communal aspect to here in the Bible, Adam is Ben Simmons in that sense, right?
Yeah.
He's representing the entire team. And people can say, oh, that's not fair, or that's not right. The reality of it is there's this representation that I think really has to get highlighted, because we live in such an individualistic culture. You know what I mean?
Obviously, this passage gets into this concept of original sin. And so this fits into that idea that Adam represents us in a way, and his sin spreads and affects all of us. It impacts all of us. And maybe an answer to this, in some ways, we also benefit from the fact that one man can represent all. So the fact that one man has brought consequences to humanity that we live in and that we suffer under, one man also brings gift and God's grace.
That's good.
That we don't have to each individually earn our way.
Right. That
Jesus also, you might say, that gets leveraged for our benefit.
And that's the contrast between Adam and Jesus in terms of what you were saying there.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly right. So, I think this passage is helping us see things are as worse than we might imagine. That it's not just that we sin, but that we can almost help but sin, because we've suffered the consequences of Adam. We've died in Adam. But the same token, we also have life in Jesus. That in Jesus Christ, through that one man's obedience, we will be. And this is just we were back in the eraser mode. We will be made righteous. This is just building from everything we looked at before. That in Jesus Christ we can be made right. We can be accepted by God. So in many ways, this begins to help us understand the kind of identity that we can really have in and through Jesus Christ, that we have together.
Yeah.
And I think all the different aspects of the fact that we don't do this as individually, we do this together in Jesus, become really important to draw out as you look at passages like this.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, look, Pastor B, I think we did a good job just kind of, and like I said, we can be here all day, really, just pulling through a lot of different stuff that Paul is saying here, but I think there's some good things for you guys and ladies to be able to research. And again, we just want to equip people with tools so they can read their Bibles well, so they can understand what the Bible is saying, and they can apply it in the ways that is helpful. So that's going to conclude our time with our week episode of RCC Studies. I'm John. This is Pastor V. We encourage you to do this. This is good for you. It's good for us, but it is good for our souls. So let's continue to keep doing this and studying the Word of God. So till next time, grace and peace.